turn that live button on and I always just want to laugh. I don't know what that is. Sometimes I just freeze. I just saw a post that was talking about ADHD paralysis, um, or lack of dopamine. I'm not going to do a long video today about that. Um, but I have many clients and many people I know who are stuck. They just they know what to do, but they're not doing it. And it's interesting. If you give me another person, it's such an interesting thing in studying ADHD, things become more clear for me. But I get on here right now, and at the current 49 seconds in, this says 0 live viewers on every single thing I'm streaming to. And I typed in, sometimes I freeze because freeze came to my mind from the post that I just read. And it's interesting. If my phone rang right now and I answered it, I'll have, especially if it's somebody I know, whatever, or I want to call somebody that I know, like I can pick it up, no problem, right? Voxer client, no problem. Coaching client, no problem. Go speak somewhere, no problem. Like if there's people, if there's a connection, boom, I have no problem. But at times, I I said to somebody, this might be TMI, but there was a podcast that I was on about a month and a half ago, maybe a couple months now. There was 2 podcasts, and one, I've known the guy for years. He'll know who he is if he would listen to this, but I've known him from years. I mean, I'm talking like 2010, and he's had a podcast that, in my mind, I made it, I guess, big. I knew it was big. I knew he had a lot of downloads and stuff. And then there was this person I met randomly, and I didn't know much about him. They asked me to be on their podcast, and on the one, I had the nervous shits, basically. We might as well just keep sharing information. People, we put all these facades online, and I just like to share as much as I can. But the other one I didn't. And what was interesting is, after the fact, I started thinking about it. I was like, what was going on? Like I didn't have any issues beforehand, and I wasn't thinking too much about it. And I know how to talk. He's my friend, and yada, yada, yada. But for some reason, my body had this response. And I don't know about you and how much you obsess over why you are or are not doing things, why you are or are not taking action, why you procrastinate, why you don't. But I think because of my work and the life that I've lived, and then the actions I do take and when I don't take them, and times that I freeze and times that I don't, it's interesting because the thing that I've come to realize is there's a lot going on subconsciously that we are not aware of. And I don't have this to pull up as a quick screenshot on the computer right now, but I want to tell you about this triangle that I think is very fascinating, that ties into my backwards bike story I always bring up. At the very bottom, you can kind of see this here. You can see the triangle a little bit, but at the bottom is unconscious incompetence, and then conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and then unconscious competence at the top. So unconscious incompetence, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know it, and you're not good at it. Conscious incompetence is now you're aware of something and you know you're not good at it. Conscious competence is, if I wanted to walk, I have to consciously think about every step that I take. If I was learning a new language, like if any of you are out there learning a new language, you might have this conscious competence. Like you know what to do, but you have to really think about each word that you say. So see, right now I'm at the top level with what I'm doing in this moment. Unconscious competence. I am not having to think or prepare each and every single word that comes out of my mouth. It just flows. And for some people, that's a nightmare, right? For some people, that would be something you never would attempt to do. But the irony is you are doing it. You're doing it every day with your friends, with your family, with those closest to you. But maybe it's a sales call. Maybe it's a YouTube video. Maybe it's a presentation. And that thing has you go to, and you start thinking about what you don't know, and you're not good at this, and you can't do that, and you need to prepare, and you need to script everything out word for word, right? So the title of this was Sometimes I Freeze. And it's interesting. I got on here and I think to myself, what is it about doing these the way that I'm doing it that I got to sit here for 20 minutes and think about what I'm going to say? But it's not thinking about what I'm going to say. It's thinking about what I'm going to title the video and then what I'm going to say in the first 10 seconds of the video. And why is that? Because I've watched so many videos that said there's a particular way to do something. I told my wife the other day, she said, honey, you're so smart. I said, I really appreciate that. And I said, sometimes I feel like that's part of the problem. There was a time, there's that line, ignorance is bliss. And sometimes it causes some major problems, not knowing something. But other times, not knowing is actually an advantage. I've told this story of Sarah Blakely before. She started Spanx. And she got into Neiman Marcus in record time. And people started to ask her how she did it. And ultimately, it was, what do you mean? She was like, what do you mean? How did I do it? Like it was as if she did something that was normal and easy and not a big deal. But because her subconscious was incompetent, she didn't know what to do intuitively. She just did what she thought was the right thing to do. But she didn't do a lot of research. She didn't look a lot of things up. So she just did her thing. And there wasn't all this baggage, all this mud, all this crap, all this mind trash going on that was subconsciously sabotaging her from doing something, because once she did it, once she got the result, people started saying, how'd you do that? Why? Because under normal circumstances, it was supposedly supposed to take 5 to 8 years to do what she did in 3 to 5 months. Because she broke the rules that she didn't even know that she was breaking. But had she known all that, there's the potential that she would have been sabotaged. See, there was so much in the beginning half of my career that I just took massive imperfect action on because I didn't know. And when I say this, that there was a right or wrong way. And now what I know is that there's not a right or wrong way, but your brain may be sabotaging you from taking that action because it already feels like it knows the answer. And it's not because you've experienced, I've been looking at this word, parasocial relationships. This could be one. I've had people at the grocery store that come up to me and they're like, hey, how you doing? And please do it. I love meet people. Say hi to me. If you ever see me out in person, do not be afraid to say hello. But what people can forget is you could consume 10 hours or 20 hours or 3 hours of me talking just like this. And I don't even know that you exist, especially if you never leave a freaking comment or you never send me a message and you never say hello. There's an amount of people sometimes I see out and about and they'll be like, oh man, notice you haven't been posting much, or where you been? Oh, are you doing this? Are you doing that? And I'm thinking, I have never seen you ever interact with me ever online. I didn't even know we were friends. I didn't know anything. But yet they know me. And there's this parasocial relationship. Still got to look into the words and stuff, but that's the word being used. And so there are people that you consume right now that 10,000 times more about them than they know about you. But through that indirect interaction, there are things being planted into your subconscious that are preventing you or having you do certain things that you don't even realize you are or are not doing because of those reasons. That's why a lot of the work that I do, when I hear people, and that's what I want to do more and more. I'm going to start putting this out there more. Send me a message. If you'd like, I want to start creating more content with coaching publicly. So up front, those are going to be free sessions. I'm still playing around with ways that I want to do that and times that I want to do it. But if you'd be interested in doing that, send me a message. Best place to probably send me a message is on Messenger on Facebook. Facebook.com/Gebs86, Michael Gebben. You'll see me and my wife. Thumbs up, send me a message. Or themindmechanic.net/Voxer, VOXER, themindmechanic.net/Voxer. Send me a message there and we'll figure it out, because that's my real sweet spot, is being able to create content from this that's actually me interacting with another individual and having you speak and hear your stream of consciousness. Because there are things that you're saying that you don't even realize you're saying. And when I can draw awareness to a language pattern that you're saying, that could change your life. I have seen it absolutely 100% change your life, change people's lives. Because once you're aware that you say a certain phrase, you can now start to use different language, different words. Um, there was a time where I wasn't wanting to do video anymore. I wasn't wanting to travel anymore. I wasn't wanting to be in debt anymore. But all I talked about was travel, debt, and video. Then I got more travel, debt, and video than I felt like I'd ever gotten. But I wasn't speaking more about what I wanted, which is I wanted to stay home more. I wanted to coach. I wanted to be abundant. Within a year of doing that, more or less those things started to happen. But I've been working on it for a decade. And so there's so many little nuances. And I just want to continue to be here on as regular basis as I can. I realize that at times, all I have to do is hit that start button. And once I get going, I'm rock and roll. And so today was that, just type it in, hit start, get going. And I believe that to build habits, a lot of us are walking zombies, and we've got habits that are built up that we don't even know are these programs that are running, and they're running. They're running our day, and we're repeating the same day over and over again. But there's things we hear about or we want to do, but the programs are so strong in our mind that we freeze. And we think, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it in a week. We'll do it on our birthday. And so to make a choice to just do it and start practicing, especially if it's something you really want to do. The reason I can technically do what I'm doing with speaking, I mean, I've probably done thousands of hours of things like this through the years, virtually and offline. Yet to get on here versus any other environment, there's this freeze. Like this morning, I froze. Every time I'm doing one of these where I don't have somebody else I'm going to interact with, I know I'm just going to turn on my setup and I'm going to start talking. I think, okay, I got to do it. It's because I've been fed from other sources. So we've got to watch what's feeding our mind. What do you watch? What do you read? What do you listen to? What music do you listen to? What movies do you watch? What TV shows do you watch? Do you watch the news? Who do you follow on social media? What do they say? What podcast do you listen to? What are you feeding your mind? I'm doing my best right now. Maybe we'll end here because I got to go. To do what I've said before, and I always got to remember, and that's a low information diet. I've got to continue to lower the volume of things that I'm consuming so that I can put new things in or just allow myself to create and to release. And so, anywho, hey, there we got. Who's the likers there? Let's see if I can see them. All right, rock and roll. Cool. Well, leave a comment, say hello, subscribe, like, let me know where you're listening in from. I love to see your feedback, love to hear your thoughts. I appreciate you. Have an incredible freaking super rockin' day today. And I'm sending you tons of love, and we'll talk soon. Rock and roll.